Okay, Sunny.
Yeah. So Brook Bond Limited was a transferor company. Lipton India was also a transferor company, and both of them merged together, and a new company came into existence, and that company was known as Brook Bond Lipton India Limited, and that was a transferee company. So a fusion of two or more companies where there is a formation of new company, and that is merger as amalgamation. So this is an example of merger as an amalgamation. So two companies are amalgamating into a third company. Merger as absorption. So merger as absorption is ICICI Limited was a transferor company. ICICI Bank was a transferee company, and ICICI Bank continued to exist. And this is an example of merger as absorption. Yeah. Now let us look at an example of merger as consolidation. So you had a company called Hindustan Computers. You had another company called Hindustan Reprographics. You had another company called Hindustan Telecom, and you had fourth company called Indian Computer Software Company Limited. So all of them merged together, and a new company came into existence, which now known as HCL Limited. Now this is again merger, and you call it consolidation, because what has happened in this case, HCL Group had many companies, and they have combined all of them together and consolidated into one company, and that is how it is referred as merger as consolidation. Another big example of consolidation is again Mittal Steel and Arcelor Steel, because Mittal Steel had operations all over the globe. Arcelor also had operations all over the globe, and post merger of these two companies, now all the operations have become part of the single group. M&A from the income tax point of view. So from the income tax point of view, M&A can be understood as normal merger. And normal merger is when a loss-making company is merging with a profit-making company. That is a normal merger. And then you have a reverse merger. And reverse merger is when profit-making company merging with a loss-making company, and that is your reverse merger. Now the question that may come to your mind as to why should a profit-making company merge into a loss-making company, and that is because as per the income tax provisions, the losses of a loss-making company can be carried forward only if the loss-making company continues to be in existence. अगर वो company बंद हो गई तो उसके losses भी बंद हो जाते हैं. Of course, you can still apply to the income tax authorities for allowing you to be able to take benefit of those carried forward losses of a loss-making company. But then for that you will have to follow a process, and certain provisions will need to be complied with. In case if you want to avoid doing that, you can of course merge a profit-making company into a loss-making company. Loss-making company will continue to exist, so you would be able to take benefit of the carried forward losses of the loss-making company. And then what you can do, change the name after the whole process is completed. Change the name of the loss-making company and go for the same name that was the name of the profit-making company. And this is how you can tweak and twist and make it as per your plan. So this is your reverse merger. Now takeovers. So how do you understand the takeovers? Takeovers of course can be friendly or they can be hostile. Friendly का मतलब क्या है कि आप आपस में बात करके डिसाइड करते हैं कि भाई ये कंपनी का हमें टेक ओवर करना है, और तो जो टारगेट कंपनी है उसके प्रमोटर्स भी तैयार हैं और जो एक्वायरर कंपनी है वो भी तैयार है. दोनों मिलके बात करते हैं, डिसाइड करते हैं और आपस में अरेंजमेंट वर्कआउट करते हैं और डील हो जाती है. सो दैट इज योर फ्रेंडली टेक ओवर. होस्टाइल इज व्हेन when the acquirer is trying to acquire or take over the target company surreptitiously, and that is slowly acquiring the stake in the target company and waiting for the number to become large enough to make a takeover bid, and that is the hostile takeover. So the example that I can share with you, Swaraj Paul's attempt to acquire DCM and Escorts in 90s was an example of hostile takeover. So Swaraj Paul was NRI or Indian based in London, and he wanted to acquire DCM and escorts, and this is how he was trying to do. And of course, at that point in time, with the intervention of the government, this attempt by Swaraj Paul was thwarted, and he could not take over DCM as well as the escorts at that time. Recently, I'm sure all of you would know this, Mindtree has been taken over by L&T, and now of course Mindtree has already merged into L&T, and the new name is LT L Mindtree or something like that. So initially the promoters of Mindtree were not in favor of their company being taken over by L&T, but through the process of discussion and negotiation, the L&T made an offer that Mindtree could not disagree with, and that is how a hostile turnover was turned into a friendly takeover. Takeover of BSNL by Tata. So how does it happen? So the government of India had many PSUs, and there was one more PSU that was known as BSNL. So this was the situation pre-takeover scenario, and there was, you had a Tata group which has different companies. So post takeover, how did it happen? Post takeover, government of India continued to own those PSUs, divide of BSNL, and BSNL got merged into the group of Tata. So this is post takeover. So BSNL now, of course, as I was telling you a little while ago, BSNL is now known as Tata Communications Limited. Why takeover? So this is the question that come to your mind. So will somebody like to tell me as to why companies should be taken over, or why companies are taken over?